This is the video review for Marvel Avengers Marvel's Hawkeye. Why it's Marvel's Hawkeye and not just Hawkeye or Big Bo Hawkeye, I have no idea, but that's what he's called. And this figure, I like the detailing on him, and I like all the extra little clothing bits they gave him, like he has his belt here that isn't solidly attached to him, it's just his hips are too wide for it to come off. And then he has this, it's the same material, but it's a rubber neck thing. And it's supposed to be like an extension of the shirt or his mask munching up. One of those two, and I like those things. I think it adds a, just an extra layer of detail to him that works really well. Yeah, he doesn't hold on to the weapons very well, and part of the reason why is because his hands are just a bit too wide. The only way you can get him to really hold on is to thread the finger through the trigger. Now that's neat that he can do that, but on this weapon it means he's holding it at a strange angle, or he drops it, and, well, in this gun it's not so bad, but I do wish that his hands were just a little bit more closed. That would make it a bit easier for him to hold on to his weapons. And he's got backpack back here. He's a pretty nice looking figure. And I really like the number of accessories he has. He has a tiny crossbow, he has a pistol, and then he has another pistol. Although, this pistol right here, he's holding this, it's a lot smaller than the other pistol. And he's holding this pistol when he's in the packaging. And when I opened it, this pistol was bent way far like this. And it was just awful. I had to soak it in hot water to get it to be, you know, straight again. So that is an issue. You might want to pay attention to that if you're looking for this guy in stores. So I do like the number of just accessories he has, and that the two guns can store in these two holsters. Although the crossbow doesn't really have a place where it can go. And like all of these figures, he comes with a really too big gun. It's this, and what it's supposed to be is you press these forward and it launches the missiles. And I just lost the missile. It launches the missiles really hard and really far. So that it can launch them that well is a good thing, but again, as usual, it's too big for him to hold. Now, one thing that is interesting is that he comes with multicolored and multi-tipped missiles, which I guess implies that each one has a different effect, like, I don't know, combustion, poison, paralysis. I have no idea. I don't really know this character. But it would make sense that he might have multiple arrow tips. And one thing that's interesting is that these two bags on his back, if you care at all about his big weapon, you can store the extra missiles back here, which I think is pretty interesting. It's ugly, but at least it's nice that they give you a way to store this stuff as opposed to just forcing you to have him holding it or just setting it off to the side. Now granted, I'll never be using that weapon, but it's nice. And I believe I mentioned this before, but there's no place for the crossbow to store. At least no obvious place. And now onto his articulation. Let me take these out because they'll fall out anyway. His articulation is, for the most part, fairly nice, fairly standard. Arms go 360, except for where the backpack bumps into them. They go in and out. They bend at the elbow. Although he has this little shoulder pad that keeps his arm from going elbow pad that keeps his arm from going all the way straight. And then you can only go this far forward, so that's a bit disappointing. And then you get the biceps. Well, I mean, fairly standard stuff here. Head rotates. And one thing that does piss me off is that, like the some of the Iron Man figures, his head can't look any more up than this. And there's no reason for it except for the sculpting. You could shave some plastic off back here and have better neck articulation without running the risk of the head popping off, so I'm a bit disappointed about that. And the legs, while I like the sculpting on the legs, one thing that does bother me is that, well, you see how he has this, It's either muscle or armor plating. I'm not entirely sure which. It could be both or one or the other, but it makes his legs too thick for them to go all the way up. So when they go up, they end up twisting. And once you have one up there, it's harder, once you have one leg bent straight, it's harder to get the other leg bent straight. Because what happens is that these legs, they're kind of attached together by a bar. So when you raise one up, you're bending the bar like this. So this leg is pushed further up. And that makes it so that only one can be as high as the other. Because like when you saw when I pushed this up, this leg went down. So that's a bit of a shame about the thighs, but otherwise they're quite nice. They have quite a range outwards, which is nice. And then you have a decent knee joint, rotates above the knee, and that's about it. He has the same standing problems that most of these figures have, with the exceptions of the ones who can stand very well being the ones with a cape, meaning Thor, some of the Thor figures and Loki. So, as not having a cape, he is pretty stable. I mean, Hulk, of the ones who don't have a cape, Hulk is the most stable, but he is on the better side of the ones who don't have a cape. Certainly he's better than the Iron Man figures, who just fall over all the time for me, so he's a decent figure. He reminds me a lot of the Captain America, who comes with a shield that shoots things. He reminds me a lot of that figure, just because he comes with a bunch of accessories and has holsters. I like him for the same reason I like that figure. So, do I recommend it? He's okay. I mean, granted, after reviewing these figures quite a bit, I've grown to warm up to them a bit more, so I'm more used to the limitations of these things. I'm not quite as surprised by them. They're not bad. If you like the character, if you like the sculpting, go ahead and get it. Thanks for watching.